Vahe sell.it.podcast-ի սիրելի լսարան։ Ինչպես գիտեք, հոկտեմբեր ամիսը հայկական ՏՏ ոլորտում լավ ակտիվ ամիս է, քանի որ ունենք բազմաթիվ ՏՏ իվենթներ, ինչպիսիք են WCIT-ն, World ITF Congress, Digitech ամենամյա էքսպոն եւ այս իվենթների շրջանակներում նաեւ ունենք բազմաթիվ հյուրեր արտերկրից, ովքեր եկել են մասնակցելու ՏՏ իվենթներին, ինչպես նաեւ բիզնես այցեր են կատարում Հայաստան։ Այդպիսի մի բիզնես այցի շրջանակում ծանոթացել ենք Vahe Nigoghosyan-ի հետ, Sarvia Group-ի հիմնադիր, ով ներկա պահին ունի ՏՏ թիմ Հայաստանում եւ Ամերիկայում, եւ Vahe-ի հետ այսօր կփորձենք իհարկե անգլերեն լեզվով քննարկել Sarvia Group-ի տեստականը եւ ծառայությունները, որոնք նրանք մատուցում են։ Vahe ջան, it's my pleasure to host you today.
It's my pleasure.
So I already told our audience that we will have the discussion in English, but in process, once you feel that you would like to add something in Armenian, just feel free to do that.
No problem.
Okay, Vahe jan, so let me kick off the discussion with the traditional question that we have related to your career path. So how everything started. Let's tell our audience a bit of a background story about Vahe.
Okay, so when I went to university, I graduated with an accounting and finance degree.
And in the US.
In the US. That's how I started off my career in accounting. I quickly realized I did not like the day-to-day accounting, but I loved finance. So I loved reading cash flow statements, balance sheets, but I did not like creating them. So from there, I became a commissions analyst. And I realized how powerful the sales organizations are in companies. Without sales, we have nothing. So I tried my hand in sales. That didn't work out too well. Then I went into the family business and I started that. I continued that on. It was my dad's business, which I still run today. And then from there, I bought a UPS store.
Okay.
And that started my journey into Hayastan. So within the UPS store, it was a good synergy with my current business, but there's printing involved. We do printing, small scale printing, business cards, flyers, and things like that. I needed a graphics designer. That's not in my skill set. So I started freelancing with freelancers here in Hayastan, and I quickly realized I had no idea. In 2018, I visited here.
Okay.
And it was just a school trip with my daughter's school. I fell in love.
What, was it the first time that you were visiting?
Yeah, first time in 2018.
Okay.
And right after that, I bought my store. And I immediately started working with freelancers here in Hayastan, and I knew there was some type of business model where I could outsource graphics design. Then I quickly talked with my close friends about this potential business idea I had in my head.
Yeah.
And my current partner was like, "Is there engineers in Armenia?" And I'm like, yeah, of course there's engineers in Armenia, even though I had no idea what engineering was, and because I'm not from that background, I'm from the accounting background. So he's like, Vahe, let's partner together. We could start a design services business. That's where the marketing comes into play now. And let's start an engineering services business, which we could grow into a software reseller business. Okay. Which we just completely, it's our first year of being a reseller, and to try to grow the mechanical engineering sphere in Armenia.
Wow. So you had the idea of starting two different businesses parallelly and outsourcing to Armenia.
Which ended up being 4 businesses.
Wow. Okay. And this is how Sarvia Group.
That's how Sarvia Group started. Yeah.
So right now it's one group and 4 directions, 4 products.
4 different brands, like we could like to call them.
So it's Engineerix, it's
Brainy Books,
it's Eclectic IT,
and Brandcraft Solutions.
Okay, and it's 4 years that you're in the market.
Correct. Yeah, we started July of 2020.
Wow. Okay, let me come back to July of 2020. It was a tough year. Firstly for COVID, then for the war in Armenia, and being based in the United States, you decide to open up the company in Armenia.
Yes.
And your partner knows about the war, and you are going to sell to the US clients Armenian talent, right?
Correct.
Could you tell me about the story and the challenges and how did you convince people to start a collaboration? How did you do the first sales?
I'll tell you, the first sales was myself, selling it to myself. That was because I have my store. So I have been my own client for accounting and for marketing services and for IT services.
Okay.
So that was pretty easy.
But also it was good to test the quality actually as a client.
So the accounting is very funny, the way we started that.
Yeah.
I come from an accounting background. So I have several businesses there. And I don't have any time to do my bookkeeping. So my second hire here in Hayastan was my accountant, my chief accountant here.
Okay.
So it's time to file I extended my taxes till September. My accountant calls me and says, Vahe, your books are a mess. I go, okay. He goes, you need to fix them because I can't do this. Right? So I said, okay. I call up over here. I go, Ruslana, can you help me? She goes, İharge Vahe can, khıntir chiga, inch bes oknem. I say, Im xanotis kirkere hashvabanutune kiç mı xanne? Khıntir chiga Vahe can, inzi uğarge mekatnaim. So I email her my QuickBooks file.
Yeah.
10 seconds, she calls me back. She goes, Vahe can. She goes, these books are a mess. I go, Ruslana, I know that, okay? Because my accountant told me they're a mess. Can we fix it or not? She goes, I could fix it. I need 2 weeks. I go, well, you got a week.
Okay. Wow,
so,
even in that case you said.
Yeah, because I had to file my taxes.
Okay.
So she sends it back. I send it to my accountant. 10 minutes later, I get a phone call. He goes, Vahe? I go, yeah. He goes, who did this? He goes, because I know it wasn't you. I go, no, it wasn't me. I go, it was my accountant in Hayastan. He goes, not bad. Have her give me a call. So there's a couple of things they had to fix on the balance sheet or whatever. That second, I knew there was a business opportunity for outsourcing accounting.
Nice.
And that's how I talked to my partner, and I was like, we need to start an outsourcing business for accounting. And that's how that started. I had zero intentions of starting an outsourcing business for accounting services to small businesses.
Yeah, because if I compare marketing, accounting, and engineering, totally different worlds. And
it is totally different worlds, but since I come from an accounting background,
for you
for me it was pretty easy. My partner comes from an engineering background, so he takes care of that stuff. And my director here, she's in the marketing sphere, so she takes care. So she's in charge of the marketing.
Okay. Cool. So let's speak about the brand name Sarvia. Why Sarvia, or how did you come up with the name?
So we were throwing ideas back and forth, and me coming from the diaspora, I love the Garmir Gabutnar and Chakurin. I love Ararat. I'm like, we're gonna name this Yerevan, and they're like, no, you can't do that. So I was like, okay, fine. And my daughter's name's Sarin. My partner's daughter's name Olivia. So we took the first 3 letters of Sarin and the last 3 letters of Olivia, and we made Sarvia.
Okay, I see. How big is the team now?
So we have around 26 full-time employees.
Okay, based in Yerevan, right?
Correct. Mostly everybody. So the entire operations team is in Hayastan. I have business development people in Hayastan, and sales. There's 3 of us in the US that strictly handle sales.
Okay, it's very good that you came to the business development team, and especially having the team in Armenia. So how do you collaborate with a team? Is it you who's mostly defining the strategy and directions or KPIs for the team? How do you manage this collaboration with a team, and how do you later on understand the outcomes?
So it's a good question. My partner has been in sales his entire career. So I've been in a little bit of sales. Like I said earlier, I've developed comp plans from an accounting point of view. And I understand how critical sales are to the organization. Without sales, we have nothing. There's just absolutely nothing. it's taken some time. We've made mistakes. We've made mistakes with the KPIs. We've made mistakes with incentives. But every time, I don't call them mistakes. They're learning experiences. We've tried different markets, everything, like from the accounting point of view, from the marketing point of view, and from the engineering point of view. I realize the strengths and weaknesses with my team, and we just go for the strengths and try to target industries that we're really, really comfortable with.
Okay.
For example, like my UPS store. I am a UPS store owner. My team knows the ins and outs of everything from the back office as far as UPS store goes.
Okay.
So when my business development team speaks with UPS store owners, they're coming from just really deep knowledge. And it's very easy for us to close those deals.
So you have industry or niche offering for
specific... right now, that's the only way to go forward.
I see. Good. And related to KPIs and mistakes that you mentioned, would you like to tell us some failure stories or lessons learned, more like...
They're not failures. I don't call anything in business a failure. Everything. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to risk and you're going to succeed. You're going to find out what you didn't do right, and you're going to move on from that. They're all learning experiences.
Yeah.
We've hired business development people that just didn't work out. That you could see they're not passionate. They're not motivated. It's pretty simple. Especially coming from the BDRs over here, how many touches they make.
Yeah.
Electronically, physically, calling, it's gonna directly impact the outcome. So we've learned it's just hitting it as many touches as you can, and try to get our salespeople in the U.S. in front of as many people as possible. It's strictly a numbers game.
Yeah.
And the team that I have now, they really understand that, and they do a really, really good job. They're extremely professional. They're just not business development people. They create the proposals.
Okay.
They communicate with the clients.
They also do the marketing and communications, right? If I'm not mistaken. So you combine both.
Correct.
Roles.
Yes. Yeah. So like I said, I'm my biggest client. So our marketing team supports our other brands.
Yeah.
With social media postings, with our own internal marketing.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in marketing.
Good. Vahejan, sales, it's especially sales of outsourcing services, it's all about trust. And I could see that you're positioning your company as world-class outsourcing service provider in the US with US Armenian team. So how was this trust building process in the US market? Because I know that there is lack of awareness. Well, especially if you're not dealing with US Armenians, if you're dealing with other people. In this case, of course, there is this challenge of telling Armenian story and raising awareness, and later after that building the trust for sales. So how did you handle this?
Like I said, I was my first client. If I didn't have the confidence that my team could handle my businesses, I wouldn't go and sell it to somebody else. Because I'm not in it for today. I'm in it for tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10, 15. We're here to build a big company. I'm not here to make a couple of sales and then go home. For the accounting side, we haven't lost a single customer. I fired one in 4 years.
You fired the customer, or?
I fired the customer. I didn't want to work with them anymore.
Okay.
They were just asking too many things, not paying me.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I don't need this headache anymore. My team is suffering, and I don't need it. I fired them. I said, at the end of the month, we're not going to be doing your accounting
So the team
anymore.
comes first in this case.
The team always comes first.
Yeah.
The team always comes first.
I know about your 3P philosophy. It's people, process, and product.
Correct.
So would you tell us a bit more about this philosophy?
Absolutely.
How do you ensure?
So it's really not mine. I got to say that, right?
Yeah.
It's another. I've studied this person for many years, and it's called the 3 Ps in business: people, process, product. People think that I need a great product. Yes, you need a great product, but how do you get there?
Yeah.
The most important asset in a company, it's its people, its employees. That's the number one. Without that, we have nothing. So let's just start there. I try to hire the best people possible. If you have the greatest talent, if you have the best people, they're going to work harder. They're going to work better. They're going to demand more from the people that are working from them. So if you have an A person and you bring in C people, that A person is not going to want to work with C people. So my goal is to bring all A level people.
How do you ensure this hiring process?
You can't. No.
How do you
just
make
can't.
sure that it's the best
But
people
you could see it quickly.
Hired?
You could see it quickly, and you just have to cut the rope and then start over. It's business is business, and you could see it pretty quickly. You could see when people are engaged. You could see if they're just here for a paycheck. Have they bought into my vision, my long-term vision. All that stuff is important to me.
But especially being in the US and having the team here, how do you see this? And is it you who's mostly interacting with the team, or is it the HR department?
No, my HR department's one person.
One person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
then
one person.
How do you see?
No, I come here 2 or 3 times a year. My partner comes frequently. We're in constant contact. My senior team in the office, they've been with me for a long time. I trust them completely. And, they demand excellence, not only from themselves, but from the people that are working for them. So, and they're there to carry out our vision. So it was more challenging in the beginning, but I could tell you, every time somebody's left and somebody's come back, the team's gotten better.
I see.
So that goes back to the people. When you have the people, you can create a great process. I'm not saying that process has to be in black and white at all. There needs to be a process. So when people leave, that process is followed. Have you gone to restaurants over here where you order the same meal and then you go another week later, it comes out completely differently?
Yeah, and I can even guess that they had the change in the staff and the chef is changed.
Correct.
Just because of
But that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. If you like to order beef nachos at your favorite pub, you shouldn't go back a week later, order your beer and nachos, beef nachos, and it comes back completely different.
Yeah. Because it's dependent on the people and not on the process.
No,
here.
it's both. It's depending on the people and the process. One of those broken down, and then what was affected? The product.
Yeah.
Okay? You had a poor product. So the process, I'm open to. I don't know everything. I'm the first one to tell you that, right? And I'm open to changing for a better process. So, but you need a process, and people need to follow. Your employees need to follow that process. So, if you have great people, a process that's continually developing for your customers, that's better. Your product is going to be a world-class product, and that's that. You can't go the other way. We can't build the nachos without the process, without the help.
I see.
It's got to be people, process, the product will be taken care of itself.
Yeah. When speaking about people, during the hiring process, do you have some value check, or are there company values that you try to find a match and understand whether these people meet the expectations from that value perspective?
It's plastered all over our offices, our company values. We have core company values that we hold dearly to ourselves. Like, for instance, your family comes first. We're a family. All these people are my family, but your personal family comes first. If there's a family issue, go deal with that. Work will come later. Our clients always come first. Always put our clients first. Never lie to a client. It's written out there, because the truth will come out, and I can deal with mistakes. It happens all the time. That's not a problem. It's a learning process. But the client needs to know.
It's better to deal with a mistake rather than the lie.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I don't write your paycheck. Yes, my name is on your check when it comes at the end of the month. But your that check is provided by the client, and our clients' needs, their services. That's what's critical. to our company values.
Because your clients are based in the US and the team in Armenia, we know that the time zone difference, it's really challenging. And especially when providing services, outsourcing services, this is one of the key, let's say, influences for decision making. So are there any processes or any ways to avoid the challenges?
So actually, I look at that. It is a challenge in certain respects if there needs to be a client meeting or a face-to-face interaction, but actually it's an advantage. And let me explain why.
Yeah.
So the client sends work over. We're 8 hours ahead of them. So if it's 12 o'clock on Monday, it's 8 o'clock p.m. here in Hayastan. By the day's end, our morning is almost starting. So my team sees the email, sees the work. They start working on it already. By the time that client goes back in, they might even get their answer. The work might even be done.
Okay.
So it's really, yes, some people might look at it as a negative, a disadvantage, or, how do you deal with that challenge? We look at it a little bit differently. We look at it, we have an 8-hour head start.
Yeah, but in this case, even it's like an advantage of completing their working cycle and having this 24/5, let's say, schedule in case the client is working with a team, like in an organic and good way.
So that's the only part where it gets a little bit tricky sometimes, especially with my West Coast clients.
Yeah. Because
there's an 11-hour time difference, not an 8-hour time difference.
Okay.
So that could be a little bit challenging. And again, my team, they're very flexible. I'm not a micromanager, so I hold them to their work standards and their work processes, and they're free to come and go as long as they get their work done.
Okay, and another question related to the communications and the quality of linguistic skills and the knowledge. So while hiring people, is it easy for you to find native speakers or advanced English?
No, it's a challenge. I'll be honest. It's a challenge. But we've created teams where our team leaders are mostly really good English speaking people. So the face-to-face on the client end, it's done with very high level, specialized people. But the written communication I find isn't that bad. So even my juniors and mid-levels who don't have great speaking, they're, especially now with all the AI tools that are available, Grammarly, Chat GPT, and all that stuff, it's very difficult to tell the email communication.
Yeah, so for email, for chatting, it's
okay.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. But when it comes to a face-to-face meeting, usually that's done by the senior staff.
I see. So they are the point of contact for the client.
Correct, especially on a technical level.
Okay. Vahejan, related to your experience of collaborating with the Armenian market, so being a diaspora Armenian, and you said that the first visit to Armenia was in
2018.
So what's your feedback related to the business differences? How business is done in the US, how it's done in Armenia, and pros and cons, or your personal feedback or personal experience?
So that's a huge area of improvement that needs to be done.
For example,
the business principles that we have implemented within our organization are classic American Western business principles. I've visited, I'm not saying everybody, there's great companies over here, but a large portion of the companies that I see do not implement those principles, and it negatively impacts their operations. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
In my company, when I hire a junior, there's a clear career path for them. There's a clear path. They come in as a junior accountant, for example. They just graduated economics university over here, or AUA or whatever, and we hired them as a junior. They come in as a junior. They could work, gain experience, become a staff accountant. And then after a staff accountant, they could become a senior accountant. After that, they could become a team leader. We have some specific industries that we deal with. They could choose one of those. They can go into financial modeling. there's many different career paths for them to take. As my business grows, my clients are getting more involved at larger companies. It's pretty exciting to see. So as that newly graduated employee comes in, they can see a clear career path for themselves. I've been to many other businesses where they are just using an employee as a worker, and there's no future for them. So what's the loyalty? You have somebody working for you, they're making X amount of dirhams a day, and they don't see a future for themselves. Are they going to stay an extra 10 minutes? Are they going to help you out? You tell me.
Yeah.
No.
Of course, no.
No, because they're just looking at this as a paycheck, and how can I make, 2,000 dirhams more?
Yeah.
They're just going to jump and go over there. The cost for me to replace an employee is so much higher than keeping the employee there.
And many employees in this case, they consider this job to be just, let's say, an opportunity for a level up. And in case of salary change, they understand that they need to move to another company, so they don't see that in the same company there should be this career path.
And they all come in hand in hand. I've lost many employees, so I'm not saying that every single person I hire, they've been with me since the beginning. But it's okay. Some people don't want to be an accountant anymore. They want to go do something else. Or they gained really good experience and they got a really good offer. That's fantastic. I'm extremely happy for them. But they need to see a career path of growth. They need to see that the company is growing, because if your company isn't growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
So, I don't see that here. I don't see that in a lot of small businesses.
So shall we say that there is less of long-term planning and it's more like day-to-day operations?
That's all. Yeah, they're just looking at today, where our philosophy is not today. Our philosophy is, where do I want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years? Because today is today. Today's gone already. It's all over.
I see. What other differences?
About my business? Or
about the differences between Armenian and American business styles?
Yeah, no. An American business is not planning for tomorrow. They're planning for 5 years from now. They're planning for 10 years from now. How do I get... I'll give you an example on what we're doing now. So Engineerix is our engineering business.
Yeah.
Okay. We have design services for engineering, but we are also the official SolidWorks reseller in Armenia. How do you grow a software sales business in Armenia when it does not exist?
How?
It doesn't exist. So I need to attract businesses to buy my software, correct?
Yes.
Today, we went to Polytech University and made a deal with them to start implementing SolidWorks in their mechanical engineering curriculum. So we had a huge event at Polytechnical University today. It was attended by many people. 80 students signed up for this program. Within a year, they're going to graduate. They're going to pass. If they pass the certification, they're going to become SolidWorks certified users. Me, as an employee of mechanical design engineers, I'm going to see that these people are SolidWorks certified. I don't have to train them. I could start hiring them right away.
So firstly, you create this market and the talent, and then start hiring from there.
No, it's not only me though. Let's go full circle. There's going to be 80 kids graduating. They're going to get jobs at other engineering companies around Hayastan.
Yes.
What software do they know? SolidWorks. What software are those businesses going to start using? SolidWorks. Who's going to sell it to them? Me.
Nice.
Right? So 80 this year. I'm going to go to every single university and get them to... AUA already implements it. Next thing we know, we have 200, 300, 400 kids graduating every year that are SolidWorks certified, going into the market. And those companies are going to be forced to use SolidWorks because all their employees know SolidWorks. It's also going to create a hub of mechanical engineers
Yeah.
that people from the outside are going to see, wait a minute, Armenia has all these SolidWorks certified users. I need to come here and open up my engineering office here in Armenia. Well, guess who's going to sell them licenses?
Yeah.
Me,
The cycle is incredible.
right?
Yeah.
But you have to start somewhere.
Yes. And
Okay.
there should be the person who has the motivation to start, because this is the thing.
So, but is this today? Am I worried about my one sale today? No, I'm
course,
not.
of course.
I'm looking at it 5 years from now, 10 years from now. There's no reason why what the investments they made in software development, now you can see some of the largest companies in the world
Yeah.
have software development companies here, the offices here. We could do the same thing with mechanical engineering.
Agreed.
If you look at India, if you look at China, if you look at other places around the world, they
Yeah.
outsource their mechanical engineering over there. Why can't it be in Hayastan? Armenians have created some of the most fantastic things in the world, from the ATM machine to the green ink on money to the MIG,
Yeah.
to Delta faucets, you name it, right? We've created it. We need to start creating again.
That's so motivating and inspiring to hear this also from you, and to see this also in action, that you came back to create something new here. And also I can see that this cycle that you already described will bring lots of benefits, both to the talent pool, and also will bring the clientele, and will also support you in the sales of your services. Thanks a lot, Vahejan, for this discussion. It was a pleasure to host you today.
Thank you. It was great having
I'm
you.
sure that it was also very insightful for our audience. Շատ շնորհակալ ենք մեզ լսելու համար եւ դիտելու համար։ Շարունակեք հետևել Sell.it podcast-ին հաջորդ քննարկումները արդեն բաց չթողելու համար։